Hey everybody, and glad you're here. It's a holiday Monday here in Canada. It's Victoria Day, except in Quebec where it's called Patriots Day. So hopefully if you're in Canada, you're enjoying a nice long weekend. In the United States, I believe your long weekend is coming up this weekend, Memorial Day. Am I right? You can let me know in the comments. We have quite a few pictures to get to. Last week I did a shout out saying we haven't had many pictures, and now this week we've got quite a few. So if you want to get your picture of your car featured on the live show, send it to Zack@motormouth.ca, ZACK@motormouth.ca, or ZACK.motormouth.ca for Americans. All right, first up we have from Calgary. This is John with his John Cooper Works in Moonwalk Gray. That looks good. That's a fun toy for the summer. Next up, I like this. This is from Jason. He has a brand new 2021 RS5 Sportback. He's got a 911 there as well, but that looks beautiful. Look at this picture here. He's got the green car with the green race deck in the garage. Now that's a nice setup. Next up we have, this is from Avik, I think is how I say it, 2012. Sonata Hybrid. He said it's nothing fancy, but he gets 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers on it. Car's 9 years old and still going strong. Next up, this was sent to me by Kevin, shot on Highway 400 near Alliston, Ontario. Now, if you're not familiar, Alliston, Ontario is where they make the Honda Civic for North America, and that that tractor trailer there is full of white Honda Civics, and it looks like Kevin is taking a photograph from another truck because he's so high up. But there you go, the new Honda Civics are on their way. They started production of the Honda Civic in Alliston about 2 weeks ago, so that's good news. It's on its way. Next up, these are from John Pettigrew, who is a regular here. He just chimed in on the channel. He is a great photographer. You can see his thumbnail there. If you see his comments in the comments section, he's taking a photograph there. That's a beautiful BMW M8 competition. He did 3. He went to the dealership and borrowed 3 cars to shoot them. Next up is another John Cooper Works Mini Countryman. I think this is my favorite one. I just like the lighting on this one. This is the BMW X540i. So these are all excellent photographs. And don't forget, if you want to get yours through, send them to Zack@motormouth.ca. Don't forget to sign up for Car Cost Canada while you're at it. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH, become an expert member. Now, it's very important to find out what the dealer pays for a car when you're shopping for a car anytime. But specifically now, because it's going to be so hard to get any kind of deal on a car because the inventory is so low. But sometimes there are deals out there. Vehicles maybe have been sitting a little bit longer. But if you go to, you know what I suggest you do when you have a chance, maybe next weekend when you get an evening maybe, is go to one of your local auto malls where they have a bunch of dealerships there and walk around, and you'll be shocked by how few cars are available. Somebody sent me a message the other day saying he was in Northern California, went to the Toyota dealership to look at the RAV4 hybrid, I believe it was, and was shocked by how few RAV4s there were on the lot. And these delays are all coming for 2 things. The chip shortage that you've probably heard me talk about before, but in some instances it's COVID shutdown. So for example, the RAV4 production is mostly coming out of Canada here in Ontario, and production was shut down for 2 weeks because of COVID, not at the main factory, but at one of the suppliers. So if that supplier has to shut down for 2 weeks to make sure everybody's cleared from COVID, they can't get the parts to the factory, you can't make the car. So, yeah, I just wanted to look at one thing quickly. Here, just hang on, just give me 2 seconds. And they're talking about the number of vehicles that are going to be missing from production because of the chip shortage. It's projected in North America, 1.4 million cars will go missing. Just won't be made because of the chip shortage. In Europe, a projected almost 1.4 million cars. Asia, 660,000. China, 430,000. South America, 87,000. And in Africa and the Middle East, about 30,000. So this is a real problem. for car manufacturers to get these vehicles made. So we're going to have to watch it and see what happens. Yeah, so don't forget, sign up. There it is, carcostcanada.com. More important now than ever to become an expert member. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH, and then you can do a search for a car, find out what the dealer paid for the car. Amazing ammunition when you go to buy a vehicle. All right, now we get into the questions. Corolla hybrid or Elantra hybrid? I would suggest that the Elantra is going to be a little bit more spirited. It's got a 6-speed automatic transmission. Actually, I think it might even be a dual clutch. I'm not sure. It's got a 1.6 liter engine, and it's got a conventional style automatic transmission versus a CVT in the Corolla. The CVT, the Corolla is only available with one trim, which is kind of unfortunate. So I would say probably more on driving dynamics. You're going to have a bit more engagement with the Hyundai. For just straight fuel efficiency, the Toyota hybrids are going to be pretty hard to beat. So get out there and try them both and see what you think. Hey, Zach, just wanted to say you and Andrea are killing it with the great reviews. Well, thank you very much. Wednesday, we are going to have the Buick coming out. I always get the Encore, the Enclave, the Envision. There it is. Hard to remember. The Buick Envision is going to be dropping on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we have the Santa Fe Hybrid and the Tucson Hybrid comparison dropping. Then on Saturday, we're going to have the Nissan Kicks is coming out. JD, love your show. Very informative. Well, I'm glad you like it. Appreciate the fine words. Hi, Zach. What's your take on daytime running lights being too bright and leading people to not realize they don't have their full ignition system on at night? I see a lot of cars with taillights off at night. Well, I think it really just should be legislated. I'm kind of agreeing with you that, yeah, it's not so much that the daytime running lights are on. It's that the dash lights up. If you were driving along and your dash was dark, you would go, oh, I need to turn my lights on. And then all of the lights would come on. I don't know why there's even a switch on a modern car. When you start your car, all the lights should come on. And when you switch your car off, all the lights should go off. There really should be no reason to turn the lights on and off other than, say, your extra driving lights or something like that, fog lights. But I think one of the worst culprits is Toyota. You see people driving along with their daytime running lights on. They obviously have lights on their dash, but the back of the car is all black. Just when German cars, when you turn them on, all the lights go on. When you turn them off, all the lights go off. That's the way it should be. I'm with you. What do you prefer between the Mercedes-Benz GLC and the Q5? Well, the GLC is at the very end of its run, just so you're aware of that. The Q5 has just been refreshed for this year. So the Q5's been out for 3 or 4 years now, and they've just given it a facelift, new air openings at the front. They've updated the information system, gives you a touch screen now. They got rid of the dial. The GLC, even though it's at the very end of its run, is a fantastic product. They did a very good job with the GLC. There's no wrong answer with these two, and I would throw in the BMW X3 in there as well. Considering the GLC is at the very end of its run, it's going to be replaced next year. It's still a fantastic product. The Q5 is there. There's no wrong answer there. So see which one you're going to get a better deal on. Often when it comes down to two vehicles like this, it's a tie. The deal will often break the tie. Which one's more per month? Who has a better interest rate? Those sorts of things. Hello from Matri, is that how you say it? Montremy, Saskatchewan. Nice to have you here. Hopefully I didn't butcher the name. I've never been there. I've been to Saskatchewan, but have never been there. Bruce is saying, boys at Motoring TV sure on recycle modes. Seen the same 3 episodes about 5 times each. Can't wait for new content. So if you're not aware, I'm one of the hosts of Motoring TV on TSN. And just so you know, new shows are in production, and they should be coming out very soon. So just stay tuned. Here's John, who sent the great pictures of the BMWs. Hey, Zach, loving the channel. Hard to work today. Enjoying my subscriber sip. Carlsberg. Had to work. I had to work today, yes. Well, here's a news flash for you, John. I work every day. Andrea and I have been working 7 days a week for a long time. We're really giving a big push to the channel, trying to put out lots of content, good content, So lots of shooting. We have cars booked. But what happens to us is we have all these cars booked, and then a car company says, oh, by the way, this car is just now available. So instead of canceling a car, we just add it in, which adds more work for us. So yes, I'm glad that you're enjoying the content. No subscriber sip tonight. Jack is at Safeway working. So he was ticked yesterday, had to work, and he missed the first game of the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns game. The TLX Type S starts at 60,000 Canadian. Is it a good price? I would say it's competitive. I was thinking about that. They sent the press release out a few days ago saying the price is going to be right around $60,000, I should say. 355 horsepower. As I always say about these things, the proof is going to be in the driving and how it goes, and if it kind of, fulfills all the hype around this, the Type S coming back. I'm pretty sure it will, but we'll have to wait and see. I think that when you start looking at what you get for $60,000, it's probably, right on par with the other manufacturers. Would you do an Audi Q5 or a Tesla Model Y? Both are around 52,000 United States dollars. It really comes down to whether you want an electric car or not. I mean, I can't answer that for you. Do you want an electric car? Do you want to plug it in? Or do you just want to be able to drive your car like you always have? That's really something for you to decide. Any news on the Type S Rdx? No, well, we still have to get a new Rdx. So you think about it. The Rdx has been out for about 4 years now, 3 or 4 years. So it's due for a refresh. And you've seen the cadence of Acura models. So we've seen a new MDX, we've seen a new TLX. Rdx is based on that same platform. They've given it a refresh. So you just do the math on this. The TLX uses the Rdx engine and platform. They're providing a Type S version of the TLX. It makes sense that they're going to do the same for Rdx. So we'll have to wait and see. It's just if you're interested in that, you're just going to have to wait. Hey Zach, what's the best budget priced EV for a young 4-person family, used or new? Dan, I think that the best deal right now, in my opinion, is the Chevy Bolt. It has over 400 kilometers of range. It's roomy on the inside, even though it's a sort of compact hatchback, and has really nice equipment on the base model. A lot of these other cars, whether you're looking at the Kona or the Leaf or so on, you often have to go up to the higher end trims in order to get the bigger screens and the things that you want. Chevrolet has done a good job of providing a lot of that stuff that people want on the base model. Now, there's a new Bolt set to arrive here any day. They've shown it. It's been unveiled. There could be an opportunity if you're price conscious, because the drive system of the current Bolt and the new one are exactly the same. So a lot of it is the cosmetics on the outside and probably some features on the inside. But the vehicles are essentially running on the same platform and the same range. So if you're fine with driving the current car, which I truly believe is a good deal, hammer out a good deal. Sign up with Car Cost Canada and see what you can get them for. I'm hearing that Chevrolet is blowing out some models at really low prices. So check that out. That would be my best advice to you. Don't be afraid to do a super chat if you want to do one. I'm not opposed. Raj is back. Hey, Raj, made it to a live show. Hope all is well. Yeah, all good here. I'm glad to see you on the live show again. Hey, Zach and Andrea, just picked up a new 2021 X2 20i in black. Loving it. Any chance of a review on the M version? Thanks. We haven't done one, but there are videos. There is a video of the X2M on the channel that wasn't done by me, but there is one on the channel. Nick is saying, hey, looking at getting a Kia Sportage, if you're American, Sportage, fits my budget. What's your opinion of that SUV? Well, Nick, just know that if you look over at Hyundai, what do they have? They have a new Tucson, okay? So the Tucson and the Sportage or Sportage, based on the same platform. So if you really want to get a good deal on one, you might want to wait until they finally announce the new Sportage is coming, and then you'll get discounts on the current model. So I'm not sure if you need a car right now. If you need a car right now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But know that this will be the last year for this current model. There will be a new version coming on the same larger platform we have at Hyundai. So just keep that in mind. Hey Zach, Mazda has cut the Mazda 6 and the CX-3, not 30, last year. But the rumors are saying that the 6 could come back with a rear-wheel drive turbo inline 6. Have you heard anything? Well, we do know that they are producing that has been announced that they're going to have a new platform. I'm just going to shift over here. Sorry, everyone. That they have a new platform with a new inline 6 that they are working on. So I just don't, even if they did bring that out, I just don't see much uptake from anybody on that car. It's just kind of like, I've said it many times, it's the best car nobody buys. The Mazda 6 with the turbo is a great car. I like the styling of it. It's nice on the inside. It drives well, but people just don't buy it. And people are running away from sedans into SUVs. The one correction is it's the CX-3 that's being discontinued. That's the smallest of the utilities. I've heard that in Canada, the CX-3 is going to continue to stay in our marketplace because it sells well. But there you go. Even if they do bring out an inline 6-cylinder rear-wheel drive Mazda 6, would anybody care? Carter C. Hey Zach, what new affordable sports car under 40 grand do you think will eventually become a true future classic? What's your projection? 20 years ago, has the car become a classic? I can't think of anything what I said 20 years ago was a classic. I think that, if you're looking at, simple, down-to-earth, honest-to-goodness cars that deliver the most miles per smile, it's going to be cars like the Miata. I mean, they're collectible now. You look at the first and second generation of those Miatas, MX-5 Miatas. There's a strong following for them. Under 40,000, it's hard to put me on the spot here. It could be something like a Mustang GT. If they get rid of the V8, which they might do, these sorts of things are going to be collectible in the long run, not right away. There's a lot of them made. You always want to look for vehicles that have low production, and any specialty equipped high performance coupes would be, I'm just thinking at the top of my head, maybe a car like a Veloster N in the future might be collectible. We'll have to wait and see. That's a good question. Lightning, thoughts? Yeah, so the Ford F-150 Lightning, hopefully you watched the video I put out the other day. I think this is a game changer. Listen, you've got 300 miles. Is it 300 miles? I think so. 300 miles of range. But it's not just the range of the F-150 Lightning. It's all the other cool stuff it does. So there's no engine. So they use that front hood area and turned it into a front trunk. They even call it a frunk with 400 plus liters of storage. It's dry storage. You can even hose it down. That is very cool. Then you have the same system that you have for the hybrid model, being able to output power to charge things like lights, your home if there was a power outage, to go camping, all those sorts of things, is all there but improved, and you have even more power. And then you've got 0 to 60 miles an hour in the 4-second range. It's a pretty impressive look. Now, what is it going to do when it's got a trailer behind it? Are you going to want a Lightning when you've got a 30-foot Airstream you're trailing behind you? I don't think so. I think people this is what I think. I think that the F-150 Lightning is going to be perfect for what most people use pickup trucks for, and that is carrying around air, right? Most people drive pickup trucks with nothing in them. That's what this is going to be for. So people who use them as a everyday vehicle, they use them occasionally to run errands and do jobs and things like that. There's a guy we know who's a contractor for a builder, and I see him every few weeks, and he's got this huge F-350, I believe it is, pickup truck. And I said, well, what do you put in there? He goes, I don't really put anything in it. I just like to know I can do it if I need to. And there's a lot of people like that. So I would suspect that that's the crowd that's going to want this. If you're still towing a trailer across the country for hundreds and thousands of miles, and you're going to want a good old-fashioned, internal combustion engine in the hood, under the hood. But, things will get upgraded and changed. I think for most people, it's going to be the ones that haul around air are the ones that are going to like it. But it's cool. They did an amazing job, It's amazing to see the ingenuity that went into that. I think it was quite clever. Evan Katz, will you be getting the 2022 Taos soon? Ask your friend Thomas. Looking forward to a complete review, considering this over the Countryman for more safety features. All the best to Jack. Well, Evan, thank you very much. I sent Thomas an email last week talking about this, and he said they're targeting July. We've already seen other reviews in the United States. How come the American journalists can get this and we can't in Canada? I don't get it. And they're all coming out of the same factory, which brings us to another point. Volkswagen is going to be shutting down that Puebla factory for 3 weeks because of a chip shortage. That's going to affect 150,000 units coming out of that factory. So that's Jetta and the Taos coming out of Mexico. So it might be delayed again. So Evan, as soon as we can get our hands on it, trust me, we'll be doing that. Chris is asking, is car cost available in the United States? Unfortunately not, Chris. It's called Car Cost Canada. I'm not sure if there's anything equivalent. There must be something like that in the States. If anybody knows, type below. Hey Zach, excited for the show. Reserved an F-150 Lightning. Good for you. Can't wait to order and take delivery. So it's a $100 deposit in Canada and the US. Why does this keep going out of focus? Drives me nuts. Recommended small truck, Ranger or Tacoma. This is an easy one, Tacoma, just because of resale value. The resale value is unbelievable on those things. So I call it the bank of Toyota. You put your dollars in, you get your dollars out when you go to sell it. That's my advice to you. What makes the Outlander PHEV better? What makes the Outlander better? Let me try this again. What makes the Outlander PHEV better than the X3 or Wrangler PHEV? You seem bullish on the Outlander, but not the X3 or Wrangler. The electric-only range of the Outlander isn't much better at 40 kilometers. Well, you know what, Rick? Yeah, you're right. I've been bullish on the Outlander, but you got to remember it's a different price point than an X3, right? And it was, a lot of the praise that we piled on the Outlander was, a couple of years ago when there really wasn't anything else in the marketplace. There weren't any PHEVs in the market. So a lot of people piled on praise to the Outlander because that's all we had. Now you've got the RAV4 plug-in, much better range. You've got a whole bunch of new vehicles with much better range. The problem I have with the X3 is its 29 kilometers of pure EV range is terrible, considering what they're charging for it. So it changes constantly because there's always new vehicles entering the marketplace. And what was, the market leader at one point is no longer. PHEV is a perfect example. It was the best-selling, or it is the best-selling plug-in hybrid in the world because really it was the only SUV that was available non-premium in the marketplace. Now we have the RAV4. So, there is going to be a new version coming next year from Mitsubishi. Has the pricing come out for the Mark 8 GTI and Golf R? Not in Canada. We still don't have the pricing for that. Thoughts on the MDX? I like the MDX. I think they did a fantastic job with the MDX. It handles really well. That's my big thing, is they changed the suspension. They updated that. They're getting it ready for the Type S with stiffer platform, better suspension, and it shows when you drive it. Mercedes GLS 450 for family 7, waiting for the new 2022 Infiniti QX60. Not really happy with my car, but it's okay. QX60 or GLS 450. There's a massive difference in price, okay? So the GLS is, in the Canadian market, over, basically $100,000. So the QX60 is going to be in line with the MDX, which is $55,000, $60,000. So a massive difference in price. If you like the QX60, it's coming. The Pathfinder has been shown, and the Pathfinder is going to be delivered soon, and the Infiniti, based on the same platform, will be coming shortly after it. So wait and see. I would suggest if you want to move a lot of people around and you want to do it in comfort and you don't want to spend a lot of money, the MDX we just mentioned would be a great place to start. Is the $2,500 air suspension worth it in the Audi Q5? No, I don't believe it's worth it. I do not. There's a Mercedes Blue Tech class action lawsuit in the United States which is having diesel upgrades, repairs, warranties extended, and some cashback settlements as well. Is there anything going on up there in Canada? Well, if there, I don't know exactly. I haven't followed that. I only know the Volkswagen one because we were affected by that. Interestingly enough, it's the car that keeps on giving. So we had an Audi A7 diesel, and we leased it then. So we didn't get a huge check, but we did get a settlement check from that car. And just last week, we got an additional check from Bosch, the manufacturer of the emission system. They were taken to court and they were found guilty and were forced to make payments to people who had the vehicles. So I got paid twice. Once from Volkswagen Group, the other time from Bosch. And, you know, lawyers sniff and smell a win. So they're going to go after Mercedes. And if there is a class action in the U.S., I would almost bet there'll be one here in Canada. Because the settlements were almost the same from the U.S. and Canada. Because different jurisdictions, they have to file in different countries. What would you take between an Audi Q5 Technic trim and an 18 Macan base with premium package to provide amenities such as memory seats, lane departure, both used market and similar price? Well, I would suggest that if you're considering these two vehicles and you get them similarly equipped, the Macan's going to be a better car because of the resale value. Now, if you don't need that extra space, because the Q5 is bigger in the back seat, especially headroom and so on, then the Macan would be the one I would choose. It's going to handle better and will have better resale value. But they're both fantastic products. Hey, Zach, since when did paying for paint colors become a thing? I used to be special colors on high-end cars, but it seems to be every model from every manufacturer now. Happy long weekend. Well, Mr. Hugh Haggis, I'm not sure if you've been paying attention, but this has been going along for a while. Car manufacturers will give you 2 or 3 base colors, black, white, gray, but then if you want metallic, if you want a special color, you got to pay for it. So it's been going on a long time. Basically, any chance they have to up the price, different color, different wheels. Ooh, there you go. There's another $1,200. Different radio. Ooh, there's another few thousand. That's the game. They get you in because you like the car, but what you think you're going to pay and what you end up paying are two different things. Auto headlamps and paired with the rear lights should be mandatory. Absolutely. When do you think Honda will bring a hybrid SUV to Canada? US has CR-V hybrid already. Well, just look at what's happening with Honda. Honda has brought out a new Honda Civic. What's the CR-V based on? It's based on the Honda Civic platform. It's always been, for the most part, a Civic with an Accord engine. That changed the last time around because they went to the same 1.5 liter engine. But it was the same in both vehicles. So because the Civic has been updated, look for a CR-V to be coming shortly. I would suspect it's probably going to be late this year, early next year. But there is one coming. And that opens the door for them to bring the hybrid in. I almost guarantee you when they come with the refreshed and updated CR-V, that's when they'll open the window and get us a hybrid. We haven't had one super chat. Last week I had so many super chats. This week, nothing. No love for the Zach Man. Which one would you go for? Acura MDX, Q7, RX 350, and Telluride? Well, these are apples, pears, oranges, and bananas all mixed together. I mean, do you need 3 rows of seats? You know, maybe you're referencing the RX 350, the long wheelbase one. I'm not sure, or the long one with the 3 rows of seats. I think the best value in there, if you can get it at actual suggested retail price, is the Telluride. I'm hearing stories of markups on Telluride because it's just so popular. I think next when it comes to value would be the MDX, because I think you get a lot of stuff in it and then I would go for Q7. If you're looking for the third row, I would leave the RX 350 off because it's just not really a useful third row. Which would you buy, the Tucson Hybrid or the RAV4 Hybrid? This is a tough question because I really do like the Tucson Hybrid. I like the looks, I like the interior, I like the drive, I like the conventional automatic transmission. Tick, 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 ticking all the boxes. What I don't like is the unknown reliability and the resale value. With the RAV4, I call it the bank of Toyota. You put your money in, you drive the car, and then when you trade it in or sell it, you get a lot of that money back. That's why Toyota continues to be king. It has a CVT. It doesn't have as much power, isn't going to be as nice to drive, but it's going to deliver the mail every single day. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to take a flyer on new technology, the new, the new hot girl or the trusty old girlfriend? You decide. I don't know what the right answer is for you. Would you buy an EV based on charging network? We're in a condo and they don't allow personal charging station. Tesla seems to win. Now, Ken, just keep in mind that the Tesla superchargers are mostly outside of urban areas, right? They're set up for intercity travel. They're not set up for in-city travel. So yes, superchargers, the supercharger network is a fabulous idea and has done very well for Tesla, but it's not really meant for you to charge your car every few days. It's meant for you driving from one city to another and needing to stop and charge to get to that next city. So do some homework on where you can charge the vehicle at charging points near where you live, because I bet you if you look at it, I even believe, now this, I seem to remember something about this, that Tesla will even block you from using a charger if it's near where you registered the car, because they don't want you using it just for this purpose. They want you to charge it at home or charge it at work. Read more up on that. I think that is a thing. I got a Mazda 3 Sport hatchback GT trim level from your advice and gave. Let me try this again. I got a Mazda 3 hatchback Sport GT trim level from your advice you gave. I see. I love it. Well, good for you. I'm glad you like it, Josh. It is a great car. Hey, Zach, big fan of the channel since 15. Thank you very much. You and Andrea have started a new trend of couple reviewing automobiles. This is an excellent concept to convince partner for a vehicle, from Edmonton. Thanks, Ronnie. I believe we're doing a pretty good job with it. I'm not sure the other channels. I don't really watch other YouTube channels that much. It's like doing homework. So yeah, I think we're forging ahead. Finally, after about a year, the YouTube algorithm has started to pay attention, which is good for us. But it's really hard. I mean, you can do good videos. You can put them out. You can be consistent, which we've always been. But for whatever reason, Google decides, how they get promoted. And the good news is it seems that we're getting promoted more by YouTube. So thanks for the kind words, and we're pushing on. Hey, Zach, your opinion on the 2021 RAV4 versus the RAV4 Hybrid, looking at both city and highway driving in Toronto. Which one would you pick? This is easy. The Hybrid is the better RAV4. It's quieter. It's got more power. It has a CVT over a conventional 8-speed automatic, but I can look past that because I think it is just a better RAV4. Okay? We have a super chat here. Babs is here. Hey, Zach, ID4 is the first all-wheel drive SUV that will be available under $50,000, and this version is eligible for the $13,000 government discount here in Quebec. Good job, VW. Yes, I think you're right. They have priced it under the threshold to be able to get the maximum rebate. Are you sure that the Ford Mach-E isn't the same? I'd be surprised about that. But the ID4, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so the way it works is the base model car has to start under $45,000, okay? So they can sell you a $60,000 one, but they have to offer a base model under $45,000 in order to qualify for the government handouts. So I'd have to look into, I haven't cross-shopped with the Mustang, but I think the Mustang would qualify as well. Can you do an S2000 Survivor video? Yeah, if one shows up, for sure. I might be bursting your bubble a little bit, but I remember driving the S2000 when it was new, and I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. I'll take a Miata over an S2000. Which would you buy, a Panamera GTS or an Audi RS7? I'm not sure what year you're talking about. Are you talking about brand new or used? If it's the GTS, see, the old GTS had the V8 engine, fantastic, but had the funny humpback at the back. Then they smoothed it all out, and it looks better. So if it's just based on design, RS7 all day long. But yeah, they're both great cars. There's nothing wrong with either one. You're basically getting a similar kind of vibe, one from Porsche, one from Audi. I would probably, if you really pushed me on it, I would probably go RS7. Hey, Zach, any idea when you get your hands on an F-150 Lightning? No, because the vehicle isn't going to be ready until next spring. A year from now is when it's going to go on sale. So there's a lot of miles to get underneath us here before we get to that. We're still waiting for a frickin' Mach-E. My neighbor across the street has had one for 3 months now. It's red. It's parked in front of my house. I'm not going to... I don't even know the guy. I said hello to him a few times. He just moved in. But he's got a Mach-E. I keep on emailing Ford saying, hey, where's the car? Still not here. So, yeah, we wait. It's a shame the base model of the Lightning would be $68,000 in Canada. Now, an update on that. They did come out with a revised pricing list for the Lightning that drops it by $10,000. But this is a fleet car. This is going to be sold to jobbers who have more than, obviously, one car. So there is a less expensive one that's coming. But the trim level is higher in Canada. So the trim in Canada is XLT. But $68,000 for a pickup truck is not crazy, to be honest with you, considering what people spend. Who's that? Jack, you made it.
Fresh out of work.
Jack was at Safeway. Have a seat, Jack. How was work today?
Good, I guess.
What were you working? Produce?
I was in produce today.
And how did that go?
Fine. A bit boring.
Were you stocking what?
And everything. They love bananas at that Safeway.
Everybody loves bananas.
I hate bananas.
I know you do. But how are you liking working?
It's good because I can buy anything I want now.
And you don't have to hear from me about it's a waste of money.
No. Well,
where's your hat? You got a new hat.
Oh, it's upstairs. I haven't opened it yet.
Well, go get the hat and come down.
Also,
and show it.
the Oilers are going to get swept tonight.
Oh, is it on tonight?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. And
McDavid is going to request a trade in 2 to 3 years because he.
I think the Leafs are going to win the whole thing for
Canada.
In Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I love the Montreal Canadiens, but I just think that they're outclassed a little bit.
Now, I think.
Okay, they're on now.
I think so.
Okay, I'll have to get this done and watch the hockey. All right, there you go. Jack came through with the beers. So that's a subscriber sip. If you're new to this and you're watching after we've been live, most of the people watching live are subscribers. But if you're watching after the fact, I take a sip and you subscribe. There you go. All right, where were we again? Oh, yeah, the price of the F-150. I don't think it's that crazy. I like this. Smash the like button if you're enjoying the live show. Yeah, we got 262 people on. Less than usual, I'm guessing, because in Canada it's a long weekend. But there you go. What's the best financial sense? Buying a 2 to 3 year old car or lease takeover? You got to run the numbers. It depends on the car, right? So Car Cost Canada is also owned by, they also own Lease Busters, okay? So I've done work for both. Lease Busters is a great opportunity. You got to remember, when you take over somebody's lease, you're buying the piece of paper, right? So whatever they signed on the lease, you now have that, which also means you have the option to buy the lease out at the end. Now, somebody made a very good point recently on the live show, saying if you are coming up to the end of a lease, you might want to consider buying it out because the price of used cars is up here right now. There's a shortage of new cars, and the price of used cars have shot way up. So if you buy, if you take over someone's lease, so go on leasebusters.com and you might find somebody that's got a year and a half left on their lease. You now own that piece of paper, and whatever it says at the bottom for what the buyout is at the end of that lease in a year or a year and a half's time, you have the first right to buy that vehicle at that price. So we'll pick a number. Say it's a RAV4 and the lease is coming up in a year and a half. At the end of the lease, the buyout is $20,000. But all you need to do is look online and see that most of the vehicles of that year are selling for $26,000, $27,000. Well, it makes perfect sense to take that lease over, buy the piece of paper, and pay the 20 grand buyout at the end. So then you can keep it knowing that you've got some equity in the car, or sell it, or work with the dealer and trade it in towards a new lease. So that might not be a bad way to go. It's pretty clever because what you're doing is you're capturing someone's future retained value, but the value that was set several years ago, not what's actually happening in the marketplace right now. And what's happening in the marketplace right now is used car prices have gone way up. So that's a pretty clever thing to do. Another super chat here. Tugger. Greetings from relatively down under, Utah. That's funny. Ordered a Telluride and have appreciated getting my fix from your reviewers during the wait. Many thanks. Well, good for you. I hope you get it soon. I love that. Greetings from down under, Utah. That's funny. I think you're going to love it. I think you're absolutely going to love it. I think that the Telluride, in my opinion, I've said this many times, I think it's the best SUV in the marketplace. I actually read a story that said that the most sought-after vehicle on the planet is the Telluride. Oh, come in, Jack.
You wanted to see.
Oh, yeah, have a seat. Here's Jack's new hat.
I'm trying to get into baseball.
Jack's trying to get into
baseball. So I got a
World
Blue
Series
Jays.
hat.
And World Series, 1993 World Series.
Mm-hmm. Was that the Vince Carter home run?
It was.
Okay.
I quite like it. His hair goes out the side, just like
I wanted it. Yeah, you got some flow. Yeah. Jack's getting into baseball.
It was a flat brim, but I'm curving it. So.
And you think the Blue Jays got a shot this year?
No, because their division is absolutely ridiculous. It's the best division in baseball. Red Sox, Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays.
But hasn't it always been like that?
No, because sometimes the Yankees suck and sometimes the Red Sox suck, like that. And then the Rays typically aren't very good, but they made the World Series last year. And then the Orioles, who are always bad.
Okay.
But
nice hat, dude.
Thanks.
I don't want to know. Thanks. See, here's the thing is, I would say to Jack, how much is the stupid hat? And he would say, was this him? I say, you're an idiot. But now he's working.
It was only $60.
Now he's working. He can spend his money on the hat all he likes.
It's $60. It's not like it's
It's $60 US dollars. And it wasn't 60, it was 68.
Yeah, it is
I saw the email come in. Anyway, back to the Telluride. That's the great thing. This is what I said to him. And if you have teenagers, you know exactly the same story. You say to your teenagers, go get a job because you have your own money. You want to blow it on something like a hat? Go for it. But there you go. It's nothing. There's nothing better than when you start working and having your own money and your parents can't tell you what to do with it. You spend it on what you like. Oh, we've got an update. It's 2-1 Toronto in the second period. Well, there you go. Well, I'll be able to have dinner and watch the third period. That's good. Sorry, where was I? Now I'm going to find out where I was. Oh, Evan is here from New York. Evan said a true car in the United States is like Car Cost Canada here. So give that a shot. Fernando is saying, I have an 18 Kia Stinger GT. Is the 2022 enough out of an improvement to upgrade? No, I don't think so. I think you got a great car. Enjoy it. It's nice. They did some nice tweaks to it, but no, it is not a big enough improvement. Hey, Zach, there are times in the year between oil changes. I forget to look at my tires. Is it worse to have them a little over recommended or a little less? What are the implications? Okay, so it comes down to two things. One is fuel economy, and the second one is tire wear. Okay, so I'm not sure what car you have, but if it's a fairly modern car, it should have what's called a tire pressure monitoring system, which will let you know, that's that little symbol comes on the dash, that one of your tires is low. Now, some cars will tell you that one of them is low. Some will actually read out the pressure in the tire. So if it's better for fuel economy to be slightly overinflated, but it's probably worse for tire wear. It really is something that you should check on a regular basis. So see if your vehicle has a tire pressure monitoring system, which if it's a fairly modern car, it should, and then see if it actually monitors the pressure in the tire. More expensive cars will tell you. Our Porsche Cayenne tells us exactly what the pressure is, and some other cars, they don't. They just tell you if there's been some kind of puncture. So yeah, you're probably going to spend more on gas with an underinflated tire than the wear that will be incurred with an overinflated tire. Does that make sense? One underinflated tire, this is a stat I did. I've done so many stories on these things. One underinflated tire is the equivalent to 2 weeks worth of extra fuel in your car. Think about that over the course of a year. So just check when you can. When you get the oil change, get them to check it. But it's not hard to do. When are you going to get the Type S? Well, when we get it. When it shows, we'll get it. Hey, Zach, still dreaming of maybe one day purchasing a 911. That's a great dream. My idea is to hope until the wheels fall off. Do you think it's a bad idea regarding the upcoming electrification? Do you think it's a bad idea regarding the upcoming electrification? So I think what you're asking me is, do you think it's a bad idea to dream about a gasoline-powered car, considering that the big push is going to be for electrification? I have thought about this, and my crystal ball is that there's going to be a lot of people holding on to their internal combustion engine cars as long as they can. I mean, I'm a perfect example of that. We have a Cayenne diesel. It gets absolutely amazing fuel economy. And because it gets great fuel economy, I'm actually putting out less carbon into the atmosphere. For example, we have the BMW X5 hybrid, and even though it's a hybrid, it gets worse fuel economy than our Cayenne diesel. But diesel's dirty. Oh, ever you couldn't possibly want them. If you want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, diesels actually do a good job of that. So there's going to be a lot of people like me. I'm not getting rid of this. I'm keeping this car because I am never going to be able to get another one. And there's going to be a lot of people if you start to see regulations around this really coming into effect, people are going to say, well, I'll just keep the car I've got. And especially for sports cars and collectible cars. You know, I mentioned the Mustang 5-liter earlier. There's going to be a whole group of people that are going to say, I'm getting a Mustang 5-liter and I'm just going to keep it. I'm getting a 911 and I'm just going to keep it. My advice to you is don't be so obsessed on the 911. I've been there, done that. Now, I would totally agree with you. If I had never owned a 911, all I would think about is a 911. Okay, but I've owned 2 of them. And having had a chance to drive all of them for the last 25 plus years, I'm here to tell you that the Boxster and the Cayman offer a really, really, really good experience for a lot less money. So if you're really just wanting to get into Porsche ownership and experience, don't just focus on the 911. The 911 is a great car, but in my opinion, it's a bit overhyped. The Boxster S, the Cayman S, and even the regular Boxster and Cayman are a wonderful gateway into the experience. And there's loads of them out there. My advice to you is look for a 2009 or newer with the direct injection Boxster or Cayman. And now those cars are now attainable for a lot more people. Experience that. Live with that. Live with what it costs to maintain and keep a car like that. Because it's not a Corolla. When you buy a car like that, you have to commit to it. It's going to cost you more for tires because the tires are soft. It's going to cost you more for brakes because the brakes are big and powerful. It's going to cost you more for maintenance because it has way more oil in the system, and it's synthetic oil, and it's just more. So that's a good gateway into the experience. Are you going to be happy to live with it? Are you going to be happy maintaining it? And did you like it? Well, then maybe one day you could parlay that into a 911. But just shooting for the 911, After having done it twice, it's easy for me to say because I've done it. Like, I got that out of my system. I understand that. Listen, I've had this car since I was 11. It kind of shows you how obsessed I've been with the brand. I bought that on Rose Street in Edinburgh in Scotland when I was a little kid, and I still have it today. So I get it, man. Anyway. Richard, hey, big fan of the channel. Thank you so much. Test drove a Palisade in the Highlander. Felt a little different to drive. It is not a CVT, but it held the revs, and even in Comfort Eco mode for too long. It didn't feel natural. Highlander was amazing. Well, there you go. That's good. You went and actually drove the car. I cannot tell you how many people buy cars without actually driving them. It's absolutely crazy. It happens all the time. So do the legwork, find out for yourself, and see what you like. Obviously, you like the Highlander better. Good for you. Which one do I pick? As Highlander drove more like a traditional car than the Palisade. Well, there you go. Good. I'm glad for you. That's good. It's a good car. Adam here with a super chat. I always enjoy your live chat. Maybe someday Andrea can join you for one. You two work well as a team. Well, thanks, Adam. I appreciate that. Andrea has said, nah, she says that's your thing. You do the live chat. I will tell you one thing about Andrea. She is obsessed with research. So when you watch our videos, all the facts and figures, the stats, the trims, all that, she drills down into all that stuff. So she really gets into that. Me, I'm more of like, I like to know the sort of big picture, and a lot of the, well, as you can see doing this, it all comes off the top of my head. And she likes to be much more prepared. So maybe it's just a comfort thing. Doesn't want to be asked a question she doesn't know the answer to. I get it. But thank you. I'll pass on the kind words to her. Tony Tan is saying, happy Victoria Day. I'm not a big fan of pure EVs. I respect that they are not as safe. I suspect they're not as safe as ICE models. But nobody talks about crash safety when it comes to EV car reviews. Double standards. I don't think we really talk about crash safety much, period, in car reviews. You know, it's when you buy a new car, you're expected to be safe. That's one thing I've come to learn from going to different car launch events, is that there are certain brands that kind of put safety out there as a cornerstone. Subaru does, Volvo does. But yeah, I don't think most people think about it. And we certainly don't focus on it for gas cars either. So there you go. It's not a double standard. What would you recommend between the GLS and the Escalade? Well, the Escalade is fantastic. Like, that is a spectacular truck. But holy crap, does it like gasoline. I couldn't believe how much fuel that thing used. Now, throwing this out there, would you be happy driving an Escalade with a diesel engine? I would, because I love diesels. But a lot of people just can't get their head around that. If you want a reasonable fuel economy, then that is the engine you're going to want. It's a no charge option. You can get the large, what is it, 6.2 I believe it is, or you can get the inline 6-cylinder. Personally, I would choose the diesel, but some people don't want that. The GLS is a fantastic machine as well, but it is not a body on frame truck. The Escalade is. We are going to get a GLS soon, the high performance one, the AMG, so stay tuned for that. We have done the Escalade, but the Escalade's fantastic. It just loves gas. Hey, Zach, are you and the wife doing a review on the Kia Carnival? Second question, what happened to unsold cars? I'm looking at a 2020 Beetle convertible. What happened to unsold? Okay, so yes, I would suggest you go on the channel and look, because the Kia Carnival video dropped like 10 days ago. So it's out there already. So there you go. And what happens to unsold cars? Well, cars sit on the lot. And the reason why you're seeing 2020 Beetles on the lot is because they discontinued the Beetle. And leading up to the end of the Beetle, they produced a lot of them. Okay? So what Volkswagen said is, we're shutting down the Beetle production. were shifting to this new Taos at the factory in Puebla, Mexico. But they did the same thing for the sport wagon, the station wagon from Gulf. And what they did was they made a lot of them. And they shipped them to the dealers so that they would have inventory for those people that really wanted them. If you like the Beetle, I would suggest that you go and buy one, because you're never going to get another one. And you'll be the only one to get it new. So that's where you want to sign up for something like Car Cost Canada and use the promo code Motormouth to find out what kind of deal you could actually get on it. So yes, it's an older car. It's now 2021. That's the only reason is because they stopped making it. And that's why it's sitting on the lot, because they made extra. What do you think of a BMW 17 340 rear-wheel drive with M Power Kit and enhanced packaged? Over $40,000 with 30,000 kilometers. Car prices are crazy right now. Somewhat rare being rear-wheel drive when it comes to 2-year extended warranty. Sean, I only caution you that if you're going to buy a rear-wheel drive car, you are going to have a much harder time getting rid of it. Okay? The market has spoken. The market wants all-wheel drive in premium cars. Okay? So, I suspect that there's more room in that price because it's not all-wheel drive. So just go in with your eyes wide open. If you buy a rear-wheel drive car, know that it's going to be harder to sell that years down the road. As for the price, I don't know what to say. It just seems like a lot of money. Like for $40,000, you could lease a new BMW 3 Series for 3 or 4 years and then have the option to buy it out at the end. That's just something to consider. But yeah, just know that rear-wheel drive isn't desirable by most. Some people will, but most people it's going to be hard to sell. Which one should I get, Palisade or Highlander? Highlander driving impressions were much better. Well, I say, Harisha, I suggest that you go with your gut. If you like the way that the Highlander drove better, that may be the one for you. Okay? Have you ever seen dealer markups on vehicles in Canada? Yes, I've heard of dealer markups in Canada, but these were typically when you would get, like, I remember when the Nissan GTR arrived, there were people asking over MSRP. I hear it's more common in the US than it is here in Canada. I just had somebody telling me the other day that they saw Tellurides at $10,000 or $15,000 over MSRP, and the dealer wasn't even hiding it. They're just saying, there it is. Take it or leave it. I don't hear about it as much here, that's for sure. Hey, Zach, I've got a great offer on my 4-year-old Audi Q5 Technic, and I'm considering buying a 2022 Hyundai Tucson Ultimate Hybrid. Am I crazy? Well, Richard, please go and drive the car first. Don't just do it based on paper. The reason why the dealer can take that Q5 from you and flip it into a profit. If you're following along with the story here, there's low inventory of new, and there's huge demand for used, and the prices of used cars has shot way through the roof. So the dealer is probably saying to you, hey, I'll give you a really good price on it, knowing that they can flip it for probably more. So I do like the Tucson. I would suggest you drive it because it's not an Audi. Like, it's a very nice product. They did an excellent job, but it's never going to be an Audi. So drive it first, see what you think, and if you can get your head around it, then go for it. Thoughts on the RX-8? Never heard your thoughts on. I've had mine for several years. I know they're unreliable. Have you driven one, and did you enjoy the high revving rotary? Yes, of course I've driven one when they were out. Listen, you have this car, so I'm glad you enjoy it. I never liked the look of it with the third door in the back. I thought it was a bit of an odd shaped car, and the rotary engine is an acquired taste. I know for a fact that guys like to go racing with them because of the flat torque curve, right? A good friend of mine, actually, one of the co-hosts on Motoring TV, Russ Bond, he races vintage rotary Mazdas and absolutely swears by them and wins all the time with them. So yeah, they have a place in automotive history, and I think that it's a cool car and a cool concept. Personally, I don't like the design. I like the RX-7 better. And then the rotary engine, it's an acquired taste. But if you like it and you think it's cool, good for you. I say go for it. What do you think of Koreans bringing out new models every 3 or so years and making the older models irrelevant and marketing strategy to compete with more reliable Japanese cars? Well, somebody asked this question, what do you think the greatest advantage is to the Koreans and what they're doing and what the disadvantage? And they're both the same thing. The greatest advantage is they're coming out with new, stylish, and really wonderfully designed cars, aesthetically and with features, okay, and power plants. So they're continuously updating their product portfolio. But to your point, and I think it's their biggest weakness, is that erodes value in their used cars. The Santa Fe is a perfect example. The car came out 2 years ago as a 2019 model. Here we are in 2021. They've already redesigned the outside. Not a massive departure, but they have redesigned it. But they went with a whole new interior on the inside. Updated the powertrains, added a hybrid. So, you know, the person that bought a 2019 Santa Fe because it was brand new is now sitting on a used older car, outdated in many respects. So I feel for that person. So yes, it's their greatest asset, but also their greatest liability. The Korean car manufacturers are like I said this several years ago. In the American car market, there was a 1964 Buick, a 1965 Buick, a 1966 Chevrolet. They change them every single year. The Korean manufacturers are kind of getting close to that. They're getting to the point where they're really heavily modifying these cars every 2 years. And sometimes it's not just a new grille and new headlamps. They'll throw in a whole new interior, as is the case with this Santa Fe. So it does hinder resale value, in my opinion. And that's why the Bank of Toyota and the Bank of Honda is what it is. All right, we have gone over the hour. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. And we're done. I think we're done. Don't forget to sign up to Car Cost Canada. Use the promo code MotorMouth. And we'll see you next week. If you want to get a picture in for the live show, it's zach@motormouth.ca. Thanks to everybody that watched. I read all of the comments, even though they don't all get on the program. And we'll see you next Monday. All right? Take care, everyone. Good night.